Walk to the back row of any used car lot in America. That is where they park the trucks nobody asks about. Dusty, marked down twice already, and every one of them will outlast the shiny truck sitting out front by the road. Out front there is a line of people arguing over a 4-year-old F-150 with 70,000 miles on it and a $42,000 sticker in the window. That truck has a 10-speed automatic bolted to the back of the engine and cam phasers bolted to the front of it. Both of those are things you are going to pay for, and there is a good chance you pay for them in the same year. The trucks in the back row do not have any of that, and every one of them is under $11,000. That is about a quarter of what the truck out front costs. 5 pickups. 5 trucks that are cheap right now for exactly one reason, and the reason is the badge on the tailgate, not the metal underneath it. Here is what you are actually buying when you buy one of these. Fuel sprayed onto the back of the intake valve instead of straight into the cylinder, so the valve scrubs itself clean with gasoline every time it opens. A timing chain instead of a rubber belt, so there is no $1,000 service order waiting for you at 100,000 miles. No turbocharger cooking its own bearings. No cylinder deactivation collapsing a lifter and wiping a camshaft flat. 5 gears instead of 10. None of these outlast a new truck because somebody engineered them better. They outlast a new truck because there is less on them to break. Number 5 is hiding behind a badge you have been trained to walk right past. And number 1 is a truck this channel has told you twice not to buy. Stay for that one, because you are going to hear exactly why that was right and exactly why it is sitting at the top of the list anyway. Number 5, the Mazda B Series. The Mazda B Series sold here from 1994 through 2009 is a Ford Ranger. Not similar to a Ranger, it is a Ranger. Same frame, same engines, same transmissions, same running gear. They came down the same line at Ford's Twin Cities plant in St. Paul, Minnesota, one behind the other, and the only thing that changed was the badge on the tailgate. Under the hood of a B, 2300 is the 2.3 Duratec. Timing chain, not a belt. Port injection, not direct injection. No turbocharger. 143 horsepower, and nothing on it that is expensive when it finally breaks. There is a story going around that this engine had a timing chain recall. It did not. Ford's tensioner program was on the 4.0 V6, a different engine entirely. What is true is that the older ones can lose chain tension, so you listen to it start stone cold, and you walk if it rattles. Then get under the back of it. The rear frame rails behind the rear wheels are what kills these trucks, and Ford never recalled it, which means nobody is going to fix it for you. Bring a flashlight and a screwdriver, and if the screwdriver goes through anything back there, you leave. And this matters more than anything else in this video. In August of 2024, the federal safety people put a do not drive warning on Ford Rangers and Mazda B Series trucks from 2004 through 2009 because of Takata airbag inflators. Those inflators have killed people. The repair is free. They will tow it and they will hand you a loaner. But you run the VIN at nhtsa.gov/recalls before you buy, not after. One trade to know about. Everything that can strand you is a Ranger part sitting on a shelf. Everything that makes it look like a Mazda is a junkyard part now. There are not many left, and there is no price guide for one. Look it up, and the valuation sites come back empty, because as far as anybody keeping records is concerned, this truck does not exist. So price it against the Ranger at number 2, since that is what it is, and let the badge scare off whoever it scares off. When you are scrolling listings, type in Mazda B2302. Almost nobody else is. Number 4, the Dodge Dakota. Dodge stopped building these in 2011, and the market has held it against them ever since. Good news for you. The Dakota was the in-between truck, bigger than a Ranger and smaller than an F-150, and for its last 4 years it came with a V8 nobody talks about anymore. The 4.7 PowerTech. The 3.7 V6 in the cheaper ones is that same engine with 2 cylinders taken out of it. For 2008, Chrysler reworked it, 2 spark plugs in every cylinder, new heads, a new combustion chamber, compression raised to 9.8 to 1, forged steel rods. What came out made 302 horsepower and pulled 7,050 pounds on regular gas. Now, pay attention to how they got that power, because it is the whole argument of this video. No turbocharger, no direct injection, no cam phasers. Not one variable valve timing part anywhere on it, and there never was one on any PowerTech 5.8. I have had these apart. There is nothing clever in there, and that is the compliment. Compare it to what the same money bought across the street, a same year F-150 with the 5.43 valve Triton. On those, the spark plugs weld themselves into the aluminum heads, and when a shop goes to pull them at a tune-up, they snap off inside the cylinder. Ford sells a special tool whose only job is fishing the broken half back out of your engine. The early ones earned their bad name honestly. The 1999 through 2003 engines dropped valve seats when they overheated, which is why the buy window is 2008 and newer, and why you go looking for coolant records. Front ball joints are the wear item. Grab the tire at 12 and 6 and rock it, and if there is play, budget $600 to $800 plus an alignment. What there is a recall on is the rear axle, where the pinion nut can back off and lock the rear end up while you are driving. Free fix, and one more reason to run that VIN. A clean 2010 runs 6,200 to 8,300 private party, 300 horsepower and 7,000 pounds of tow, for about what the dealer charges for the extended warranty on the truck out front. Number 3. The Chevy S10. This truck built half the small businesses in America in the 90s. The reason is bolted under the hood, and it is the 4.3 Vortec V6. That engine is a small block. GM took the 350, the most produced V8 in American history, kept the same 4-inch bore and the same 3.48-inch stroke, and built a 6-cylinder out of it. The pistons and the bearings and the valve train all interchange with it. Back at the plant, we used to say the 4.3 was the motor you handed your kid, because there was nothing on it a kid could hurt. Push rods, cast iron, no turbo, no direct injection, no cylinder deactivation, no belt to snap. It tows 5,200 pounds and gets 15 in town and 20 on the highway, which is the government's own figure. You buy this one because it lasts, not because it saves you anything at the pump. Two things go wrong, and one is a $100 problem while the other is a $1,000 problem. The cheap one is the spider injector, where the fuel runs out to poppet valves that gum up and stick. Runs rough, hard to start hot, no power. Parts are about $125, and a 2002 or newer truck skips it entirely because GM went to a proper injector at every port that year. The expensive one is the lower intake gasket. Plastic core, heat cycles beat it, coolant gets into the oil. That is $800 to $966 in a shop. Ask the seller which of the two has been done, because on a truck this old somebody has done one of them. Now the part nobody selling you an S10 says out loud. The newest one is a 2004, which is 22 years old. There are around 120 listed for sale in the entire country, and they average just under $9,000, which is a good deal more than the internet will tell you. And the Insurance Safety Institute rated this truck marginal in a frontal crash every year from 98 through 2003. No side airbags, no stability control, so buy a 98 or newer to get both front airbags and know what you are buying. This is the second truck. This is the one that goes to the dump and pulls the little trailer to the lake. It is not the truck to put your wife in on the interstate. Number 2. The Ford Ranger with the 2.3 2009 through 2011. Yes, same truck as number 5. That is the point of putting both on this list. One of those badges is sitting on lots in every town in America, and the other one you have to hunt for. This is the one you can actually go find on a Saturday. That 2.3 is a Mazda-designed engine Ford built, and it is the same family that went into the Focus, the Fusion, and the Escape, millions of them. That is why the parts are cheap, and why every shop in America has already had one apart. Timing chain, port injection, no turbo, and the government rates the two-wheel drive stick shift at 22 in town and 27 on the highway, under today's testing rules, not some inflated figure from 20 years ago. That is better highway mileage than most of the crossovers your neighbors are driving. The stick is the one to buy, and it is usually cheaper, because hardly anybody wants to shift for themselves anymore. When the clutch finally goes, and it will, figure $1,100 to $1,300 at an independent shop. Anybody quoting you $600 is quoting you $1,995 money. Same inspection as number 5 and the same airbag check, because that do not drive warning covers Rangers all the way through 2011. One more thing, and it is the most useful sentence in this segment. On a Ranger, the zip code matters more than the odometer. A truck that spent its life in Arizona with 180,000 miles on it is a better buy than a Michigan truck with 90 by the frame. A clean 2010 regular cab and base trim runs $5,500 to $7,700 private party. Find a solid one and you are buying the last small truck this country built before somebody decided a pickup needed a turbocharger to get out of its own way. If this is useful, tap the like button. It is the only thing that puts a video like this in front of the next fella standing on a lot getting talked into something he does not need. Now, number one, the Nissan Frontier. Let us deal with the elephant, because this channel has put the Frontier on a do not buy list twice. That was right. It is also right that it is sitting at number 1. The warning was never about the engine, the warning was about a radiator. On the 2005 through 2010 trucks, Nissan built the transmission cooler inside the radiator with a thin wall between the coolant and the transmission fluid. That wall cracks. Coolant is a solvent, not a lubricant, so it strips the friction material right off the clutch packs. The fluid turns pink and thick and you cannot see through it, and owners named it the strawberry milkshake of death, which tells you how common it got. Nissan never recalled it. A class action pushed coverage out to 10 years and 100,000 miles with a deductible the owner paid himself, and that window closed in 2013. Federal regulators studied it and refused to order a recall. All of that coverage is dead now. If it happens to you today, you own it, and it runs about $6,000 all in on a truck worth $8,000. And then, for 2011, Nissan quietly changed the radiator. Go count the complaints in the federal database yourself. 2005, 188 radiator complaints. 2006, 164. 2007, 160. And then 2014, 0. 2017, 0. 2018 and 2019, 0 and 0. Same engine, same transmission, same truck, different radiator. So write this one down. 2011 and newer, and you are buying the best truck on this list. 2010 and older with an automatic, and you are buying somebody else's problem. And if it is a stick, none of it applies, because a manual truck never had a cooler in the radiator to begin with. The engine is the 4.0 V6, 261 horsepower, timing chain, port injection, no turbo, nothing shutting cylinders off to save fuel. Nissan put that same engine in the Xterra, the Pathfinder, and their work vans for 15 model years, which is why the parts are cheap and every shop has seen one. Now the number that will show up in the comments if it does not come out of my mouth first. There is a study from IC Cars that gives the Frontier a 5% chance of reaching 250,000 miles. 18th out of 19 pickups. The Tacoma sits at 25%. That number's not the engine, that number is the radiator. The study counts every Frontier ever sold, including all the 2005 through 2008 trucks that got scrapped at 90,000 miles because somebody handed the owner a $6,000 estimate. The defect this segment is telling you to avoid is what drags the whole statistic down. Consumer Reports rates these 4 and 5 out of 5 from 2008 through 2015. So let us be precise about what this truck is. It is not the longest lasting pickup ever built, and the dealer is not going to tell you that either. It is the cheapest way left in America to buy a simple, port-injected, chain-driven V6 truck that a small-town shop can still fix. And here is the money. Do not shop the 2014s and 15s. That is $14,000 to $16,000, which is 2 and 3 times what every other truck in this video costs. Shop a 2011, 12, or 13 with 130 to 180,000 miles on it, and you are at 7 to 11,000 private party. That is Dakota money for a truck 10 years newer. 2 checks, and you are done. Look through the side of the coolant tank for an oily brown ring smeared above the fluid line. Then pull the transmission dipstick and wipe it on a rag, because healthy fluid is see-through even when it is dark, and milkshake fluid is not. One more. A catalytic converter code on a high-mileage one is not a sensor problem. That is the converter crumbling and feeding ceramic dust back into the cylinders. Last thing, a 2014 Tacoma averages 19,700. The same year Frontier averages under 14,000. That is a $6,000 difference between two trucks that both work. Toyota has better marketing, that is all. Somebody already paid for that Frontier to lose its value, and it was not you. So there they are. 5 trucks the market forgot about, and every one of them will still be running when the truck parked on the front line of that lot today is getting its second engine. The Mazda B Series, the Dodge Dakota, the Chevy S10, the Ford Ranger with the 2.3, and the Nissan Frontier with that 4-liter 6. None of them will impress your neighbor, and none of them have a heated steering wheel or a 12-inch screen in the dash. What they have is a thing the industry forgot how to build, which is a truck with nothing expensive on it to fail. And none of these are perfect. 3 of them need an airbag recall check before you drive one home. One is 22 years old, and the insurance people rated it marginal in a crash. The point is that you can see every one of their problems from the driveway, and you cannot see a single one of a new truck's problems until the warranty is over. So tell me something down in the comments. What is the cheapest truck you ever bought that just flat refused to die? Year, model, miles. Somebody reading this is about to go buy one, and your answer is worth more to him than anything a salesman is going to say. And if you want it all written down, the buying traps, the shortcuts, which models to look at and which to walk past, I put together a book called The Right Ride. There is a link in the description. No hard sell. It is there if you want it. Either way, hit like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. The best truck on the lot is usually the one with the most dust on it. This is Frank.